the panelists to the student section in this ongoing ICAT International Conference on Appropriate Technology, hosting live in Pretoria. And our theme is Technology Exchange and Employment Creation for Community Empowerment. So the idea is to cross-pollinate innovative models, which will be our basis of discussion. We need to cross-pollinate ideas, innovative thinking on how we can address the issues around appropriate technology as it affects us in this part of the world and in the global community. Going by World Bank revelation, I think according to World Bank 2020, it has been proven that about 10% of the global population are living in extreme poverty. And this is coupled with the grim reality of climate change, which is threatening to reverse the gain of poverty alleviation. And this makes United Nations to come up with sustainable development goals, which we have to dwell on how in our discussion. Be that as it may, we're looking at discussing grassroots innovation approach and how it affects our local development in planning process, and how technology is really affecting us here in South Africa and abroad and in the global, in the universe. So we need to look at the linkage between climate change and the rationale as it affects the spatial planning, architectural education, technology advancement, fourth industrial revolution. I think any of the area we can look at. But as we discuss, we must try and focus our attention around how the appropriate technology affects people. From the background of the keynote speaker from Professor Trimbo this morning, so we need to think around culturally sensitive approach, ecological balance in technology exchange, economic sustainability, and priority as it affects the disadvantaged population. As we dwell on this, I would like to announce those who will be moderating the section for us in person of Mr. Giovanni Muzambe. Mr. Muzambe is the master degree holder in industrial engineering with Bachelor of Technology also in industrial engineering. He is presently a technology officer at the Rail Manufacturing Center for Rapid Incubator, Ramseri in short. He will be leading some of the discussion with Mr. Skolani Skosana. He is a Master of Engineering student. He's doing research around mixed reality with focus on virtual reality. So I will open the floor to our two moderators to lead us into the topic of discussion for today. Welcome, Mr. Giovanni and Mr. Skosana. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Denuga, for this wonderful introduction to our student session this morning. And I welcome all our participants to this session. I just want to emphasize that this is not, it's very different to all the other had what we had before. We had the past 2 days, the workshops, the kindergartens. But here we are just students. We are having an open discussion for among our students. So like there's not really a protocol here. Who speaks, who doesn't speak. We are all here to learn from each other. So I think the objective of this session is just for us to discuss and to talk about the future of INET as young people. That is the main focus for this session, for this student session. So we are all welcome to this special session of student, and we're looking forward to hear from you guys and to get your contribution in terms of how to make this initiative of the INET a successful and a sustainable initiative which we will stay and continue for many, many years. So as Dr. Anunga said, we are from University of Technology in Pretoria, South Africa. We are all students and we just some are doing their PhD, some are doing their masters, but we are all in the Department of Industrial Engineering, and we would like to just share with us and to guide this session with you guys and see how we can go about it. So, before we start with our discussion this morning, just to give Mr. Polani Skosana also a chance to just introduce himself as well, like what he's doing, and also just say hi to everybody as well.
Okay, thank you, Giovanni. You already said my name. My research area is virtual reality, and we are trying to compare the benefits of using virtual reality on headsets versus on desktop and other platforms. For me, now it's interesting to hear your ideas around appropriate technology because appropriate depends on context. So I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas on this topic. Please feel free to engage. Thank you, Joanne.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Olani, for that introduction. So, as I said, we're just gonna guide or lead the discussion, but we are very open to hear from everybody this morning. So we have a list of questions uh, which we would like us to just reflect on these questions as young people or a student, right? Again, this is just to guide us, but if you have any other question or comment, you are always welcome to say to say whatever comes in your mind about INET. Okay, so the first question we have for us all to discuss here is we just want to collectively define what is appropriate technology, mostly in terms of us young people and also of our respective country or continent. So, I mean, that's our first question. So, what you can just let me know if you want to come in first. How would you define appropriate technology? Which will speak to your current situation or your current country or your or continent. How can we define technologies in our respective area of interest? So the floor is yours. The floor is yours, and please let me know if you who want to come first. It's not open for discussion. Let me first hear from you guys. How can we define the appropriate technologies? Who want to go first?
Giovanni, man,
Yes, Koran.
there's no one right before I start
You can
talking.
go
There's
ahead.
no.
Yeah, you can go ahead if you can go ahead.
Maybe to reflect on a conversation that I had yesterday concerning the 3D printing of houses. So there was a question to say, looking at how much employment the construction sector is bringing about, what would happen if we started 3D printing houses? And in the context of South Africa and other African countries where construction is also responsible for large amounts of for high employment, what would happen if we start 3D printing the houses? People would be out of jobs. Is that appropriate? Is that appropriate technology then for us? If not, how can we make it appropriate technology? Maybe I can start with that question.
No, thank you, Raleigh, for that question. I think that's a very good question. That comes as so. That's a very good question from Kolani. Let me hear in the group if somebody has wants to come in there to say what they think about this kind of conception or ideology. What do you think about that question? Because I mean, for me, if I may come in here first of all, to thank Score for that question, which really challenge our perception about technologies. That's why for me, I always say to people that in life, everything in life is relative. So what may be appropriate for me may or may not be appropriate for somebody else or for a different country or continent. So I think the first thing to do is we need to to take everything in the context of uh, our small world. May it be our university, our country, our continent. We need to always try our best to bring everything back into our relatively small world, then define every term, uh, with the perspective of our particular context. So yes, the 3D printing of houses, whatnot, is might be very appropriate for many countries, but maybe not for Africa, for instance. So yes, to just answer your question, so for me, I think we need to always redefine every term, redefine every concept, redefine every technologies based on our interests, on our situation. That's how we can be able to really uh, be sure we are not misleading our people, mostly in the area of science and technologies. That's what I can say. Let's see if there's anybody else who want to come in here. You are able to. I'm sure you are able as you are able to unmute yourself and just let us know if you want to come in there with a comment or a question. Please feel free.
I need to front Mr. Osana on the need for 3D printing. Is he inferring whether the 3D printing will be for demonstration purposes, which from my own thinking is not out of place? It can represent our view of our environment on how it is appropriate to our situation. But if it is for the living purposes, how realistic can that be achieved? So
Okay, thank you, Doctor. It was Mr. Sikano and Kaya who were talking about a presentation that was during the conference where they were building a house using a 3D printers. So we then had a conversation about that to say in South Africa, would that be an appropriate technology? looking at the jobs that could be lost if we exploit additive or 3D printing of houses. So yes, it's being done. How should we exploit? Should we say from the technical side, whatever regulations are established to say maybe we should not exploit? Is that how we should control the use of this technology, to say we should say we can explore 3D printing but not for houses? That's how we can control it. And by so doing, are we not allowing ourselves to fall behind the technology, and then eventually other countries are doing it anyway, whether we do it or not? So we can say it's inappropriate for us and we delay the exploring it, then someone is doing it. So at some point, the companies will adopt it. So it's just a question of how do we deal with it? Do we exploit to the fullest, even though we know what could come out of it, the negatives, focus on the positives only? So that's just the question. Many questions, rather.
Yeah, it's a very good question, Mr. Skosana. My view of it is, there is a need for construction, especially if we are talking about the rural areas, especially in South Africa. There's a need to build more infrastructure, to build more, if we're talking RDPs as well. So, this technology of 3D printing, I think, is very much necessary, but I feel like we need to kind of balance it with the current situation that we're having of people losing jobs and all that. So we kind of need to not eliminate more jobs, but make use of it in such a sense that it's also helping us, but at the same time, we're upskilling the people.
Thank you, Trevor, for your contribution. It's really much appreciated. I think yes, these are very, very relevant questions we need to ask ourselves. How do we balance between preserving people's jobs and advancing technologies in our countries or in our continent? These are very, very critical questions to ask ourselves as young researchers. Well, we need to always do our best while we are pursuing our efforts, to advance our science. We need to always think of the impact of that science in the life of many people who might, as Trevor said, lose their jobs because of the advanced technology we are pursuing. So that's a very, very critical input there from Trevor. I don't know if is there any other comments or on this topic. You can either raise your hand or just start speaking. You can hear it from wherever you are before we can go to the next question of our discussion.
I think we need to re-emphasize the understanding of people about what an appropriate technology is. Your first question, how do they define it from their own perception?
Yes, yeah. So let's hear from you, everybody. Mr. Pule, do you want to come in there? I see you on your side there. How do you define appropriate technologies in your own word, in your own understanding? So maybe just let me give my humble view on this question. So for me, the way I define this is that appropriate technology must be a technology that addresses local issues, local problems. So, for instance, for example, if my people if my community are having problems with food or with water, and then I, as a researcher, go ahead and I try to develop this fancy 3D printing. So I think that's not appropriate for for my context. So I think for me, it must be a technology that addresses the challenges and the problems of the local community, of the local people, to make their life better. That's how I define appropriate technologies.
Are we? Hello,
Yes,
am I
Mr.
audible? I
Pule,
thought I was not audible earlier
we
on.
can hear
So
you. Yeah.
the question that I'm going to ask is that are we are we going to make a trade-off between water and houses? Is there a problem that is I don't know, bigger than the other in this state? And the question I'm saying this, and the other issue that Stolani was saying earlier, the question or the discussion that we had earlier or yesterday after that presentation was that if that machine, the 3D printing building machine, is can produce X times the number of houses as the normal building practice can, and then is that not appropriate? Are we not then fighting the problem of housing faster than we would when we were using traditional building methods? So are we really trading off, saying no, the people must have jobs and not houses? And remember as well, the issue of jobs is also subjective. What kind of jobs are we talking about? Because the people that are working, and I'm talking in the context of local where I am, right? Most of the people that are working for these construction companies that you're talking about, that they're going to lose jobs, are the same people that are living in shacks. So if I could give him a house faster, okay, a house faster, would I say no? I wouldn't want to bring a technology that's going to give you a house in the next year. Be in the context of RDP houses. If you know the background of it here in South Africa, you would know that there's people that have been in a queue an RDP house for more than 20 years. So are we saying no? Keep living in a shack as long as you have a job. Also, the issue of losing jobs: are we losing jobs or are we losing workers? Are we losing jobs or are we getting rid of the type of a job? Because then if we are bringing a guy that pushes the wheelbarrow, I mean, technology has been improving even in the building industry. There were guys that were generally traditionally pushing the wheelbarrow, pushing the wheelbarrow, pushing the wheelbarrow. Now you have you moving that material now with a conveyor or something. So does it mean that the wheelbarrow person, we shouldn't employ the conveyor because the wheelbarrow guy is going to lose the job? Meanwhile, we are going to have a mechanic for a conveyor employed.
Mm.
I don't know if you get my
Yeah, no, yeah, true, true, Mr. Scanner. Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, that balance, that trade-off between housing and job security. I'm just interested to hear what um, Flo is saying about this, the balance between housing and job security. If we can get people what they need, people need houses, that's why they are working. So if we can 3D print all the houses and they are not working, yes, but they have what they would buy if they were working. So that trade-off, what is the opinion of the Flo?
I think Mr. Pule's opinion is a very cogent one. because this could spur interest in agriculture if a farmer is provided with a means of sheltering itself and you locate it in agricultural opportune area. That could probably spur more interest in people going into agriculture because the white collar job are fast running out, and this could be, I think, a model that could be adopted, trading off employment in order to encourage people to go more into agriculture, which is one of the SDG goals that we're talking about. I think that's my own view about the discourse.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nika, for that your comments there. Thanks, Pule, for that also very challenging comments there as well. You know how they made a trade-off, right? It's, so yes, I can say there's not really one formula fit all here. Uh, in every uh, in every time we're gonna need to really properly think and then determine what's the best way to do for that community. Because yes, in some instances we might find out that building a house quickly is better, to give people a shelter and so forth. But in some other instances, we must find out that maybe it's not a good idea to give them a house, but we can instead rather give them a job, which can then help them to be able to buy their own house. So we just need to be flexible. As I said before, everything is relative. So it's no one way fit all for every question we might have. So I think for me, then the critical skill we might have is to be flexible and dynamic. Not to be not to I mean to be able to think outside the box every time. Not to have one way of thinking every time, all the time. That's, I think, for me, is a very very critical skill as a scientist or as a researcher or as a student, to be able to address our particular problems. Let's see if there's anybody else who want to give a comment here in the floor. I see Mr. Pule. Want to come back, please?
I think we need to also ask the question if these things are mutually exclusive. Is it that if I give you a job, then I can't give you a house? Or if I give you a house, then you have to lose a job? I mean, we can do that. And also the context that we're using of a job, it's very problematic because a job suggests that you must be employed somewhere. So are we saying that by policy we can create opportunities for people to earn an income? That's what's needed via different means to earn an income. Because this issue, when they say, hey, you're going to lose jobs, for me, I find it kind of kidnapping of some sort. It's arresting, but no, the jobs are going to go away. Is the job the start and the end of it? Can we not create a situation where people are going to earn an income in many ways? We're talking about inappropriate technology. I mean, they're saying that small scale, affordable by locals, environmentally sound, and locally owned technology. Right. So where we build these houses, is there are we saying it's only going to be houses? We're not going to give provision for food security. We're not going to give provision for people for clean water. We're not going. So it in our talk now, it sounds like it's jobs or houses. then the guy has to stand there and choose. That's my submission.
Okay. Is there any other comment in the floor, everyone?
Yeah, just to add on to what Mr. Sikano is saying,
Yes, Trevor.
I think this 3D printing technology is too broad to limit it to just, the house itself. I just wanted to say also, it can be used also for rather the equipment or rather the components which are used to build a house. So let's not also just limit it to the house itself. So that's what I wanted to just add.
Okay, thank you, Trevor. That very true. Is yes, of course. Now we are just limiting it to the housing, but of course, it's a very broad technology which is being used for different purpose, for different aspects of different roles in the ecosystem of the country or of manufacturing systems. Yeah, but I think unless there's any other comment on this issue, uh, I'll move. Then we can see the next question we have, who's going to guide our discussion this morning. Uh,
Giovanni,
yes, Mr. Holland.
maybe before we move on, we can
Yes,
have like that definition to say how did we agree as a,
as a
you
group.
know, as a group, how are we saying, what are we saying about appropriate technology? Because you mentioned one thing, you did say that it should address the problems of the community, of the local community. Are we agreeing on that? Is there no one who's coming up with another definition? Is that one fine? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
I think that should sum it up, because it's the localized type of problem solving. So I think what we agreed on, even though we have different views, is that if it does not solve the problems of the local, then it's not appropriate.
Thank you. So I think we can now start. I don't know if Scrum is helping us to take note of our input here. We're going to try to
Yes, Giovanni.
consider it. You are. Thank you. Thank you, Colin. Okay, cool. So our next guideline question is as follow. We want to identify challenges in Africa. So, okay, I assume that not everybody here maybe is from Africa, but I think most of us here are from Africa. If I can see in the list of our participants here, so we need to identify different current what we can see as current challenges we have in Africa. So really, like here, I'm not going to be the one speaking here. I'm just going to really let us speak. If there's nobody starting, I'm just going to call by name here. I think we all have seen, we have have experienced some issues in our communities, in our countries. So we can all be able to identify one challenge Africa is facing now. So let's first see who want to come first before I can start calling names. Let's identify what we have seen or experienced as challenges in Africa or in the world, maybe. Who wants to come first?
Giovanni,
Yes.
it seems we are the only people talking.
Yeah. So that I'm saying, this one here, we call names and ask somebody to say something.
Please feel free to engage. No answer is wrong or right. Maybe to open the floor, I would say one problem that we all share in African countries is the issue of corruption. So
Okay.
one is corruption. Then the follow-up question from that would be, how does corruption affect appropriate technology?
Good. Thanks for that question. Anybody else? So, what have you seen? What have you experienced or heard that is a challenge in Africa? We're trying to identify different challenges that Africa is facing at the moment or even the future ones.
Uh,
Yes,
Greeting everyone.
I had done.
According to me, on top of corruption, we can say that African don't trust African businesses. So if, for example, I want to buy something to my brother and I have two choices, either my brother or maybe a Pakistani, I will tend to go to the Pakistani rather than to my brother. So I think we also have that problem. We don't trust African businesses.
Thank you, Dan, for your contribution. That's how you think that corruption affects appropriate technologies. That's right.
Corruption, corruption affect in a very broad way. It's complicated to say that only that way because, for example, milk. Let's take the example of milk. The African farmer produce milk, and it's a very good quality milk. But let's assume that 1 liter of milk is going to cost 100 rand, and imported one, it might cost around maybe 80 to 60 rand, but also has less quality. But because those people coming here might have corrupted somehow, they are having a better price and hence a better share of the market. So that's how corruption is affecting also Africa.
Okay. All right. Let me also come just to give a challenge that Africa is facing, which really pains me a lot. Okay, so I was saying that can you hear me?
Chair or Gio,
Yes, Pule.
what Dan is saying there reminds me of a of a quote by the ever revolutionary Frantz Fanon when he said, "The oppressed will always believe the worst about themselves." So my take here is that our biggest problem in the continent, I say it without reservation, is the remnant of colonialism and imperialism. It's still there. All these issues that we're going to talk about, the poverty, corruption, not believing in ourselves, they stem from the problem, which says we still have the remnant of imperialism and colonialism in in the continent. So I think we need to discuss around that issue, especially now that in the past few years, I think there was a huge still there, although it's no longer. I don't hear the media saying it all the time. But if you follow some people, you know that the decolonization project is still continuing, and with decolonization comes with asking ourselves, how are we going to free ourselves from colonization, because we are still there, right? Believing Asian product, European product, or an African product. People believing that herbs that are found in the continent, for example, would not help them alleviate some sicknesses, but they would want a lab tested, manufactured pill to say, no, this carbs, this was ratified in Europe, it's fine, then it means it's fine. So I think it's all part of the bigger colonization project. And just to close, you remember in the morning the presentation says one of the driving forces of appropriate technology would be anti-imperialism.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Scano, for that response. Dan mentioned something that I had a follow-up question on. He said it's because of corruption. Maybe it's a question. It's a question, in fact. Is it because of corruption that we are not competing on price? I have this question directed to Dan and another question to Mr. Scano. But Dan, maybe please provide clarity there.
I wouldn't say it's because of corruption that we are not competing on prices, but corruption is one of the factors influencing our high price, because also high price is due to inability to actually manufacture our own equipment. Our equipment have to be imported. We have to buy those equipment from somewhere else, which increase your break-even price. But over and all, I would say corruption also does influence somehow a high price in Africa.
Just to add what Dan is saying or support that, of course, yes, corruption really is affecting the way we can compete in a business. I'll give an example. A few years ago, in the DRC in Congo, there was a shop. A shop. I mean, someone wanted to bring his supermarket in the Congo, but it was a well-known supermarket. So I'm sure that fact would have brought something very good for the country, for the city. But there was already a very powerful supermarket owner in that city who had connections, with all the statesmen of the country, and that guy. I mean, it's a true story. He corrupted the minister of commerce, the government, the government of the city, and so forth, to block that new supermarket to be established in the Congo. Now, for him to be able to keep on occupying the city on himself. So that's how corruption can really affect the business and can really affect the way we can compete in a fair ground. So really, I mean, just to support what Dan said before. So yes, corruption, it can really affect the way we compete in our business. If you can maybe not be able to compete on the price because somebody is corrupt, and then they let people to come in with the junk food or junk products, which they can put in a very low price. So now you cannot compete because you have a good quality product which you cannot afford to put it at a certain price. So just to that was my comment on that question. But I also wanted to just identify other challenge, which for me is a very very painful one for me in Africa. Is the issue of we need to say it. The issue of new colonization. We are being again. I mean, we are uh, officially free and independent countries, but we are still being colonized in a new way, even now in this 21st century. So that for me is an issue, and it's also caused because again of people who are corrupt in our institutions. I think for me it's a very big issue we are facing now, and we need to keep on thinking on how can we get out of that hole, of that box of a new colonization in Africa, and then become very free, economically free, become free, politically free, and also become free in the way we do our business, in the way we think, in the way we do our research. We need to really, free ourselves, from all those aspects, which then, allows a country or a continent to move forward. Please let me know if you have any question or comments on that issues as well. Let's have your thought about that as well.
Giovanni, please explain what is neocolonialism? I don't know it.
Yeah, it's called neo-colonization or neo-colonialism. So you see, back in the years, 50 years ago, there was really clearly a country either from Europe or America who was officially known as uh, coming to colonize a country, and they will come there like, and they are there to colonize you, and it was happening that way for many years. So now that African have fought against that, so we received what we call independence, right? So now some countries are actually finding a way to keep on. It's actually it's the effect of trying their best to have an influence on the way Africa is running their business. So they're trying to do their best. It's like they call it imperialism maybe. So they find new way, right, to control you, a new way, right, to 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 interfere with your businesses in Africa, right? So it's not yes expressed officially, but it's still happening. So that's the call it a neo-colonization. I
Yeah,
see Pule's hand, Pule. Uh,
yeah. Just to give a few examples there, or to the person that asked the question. So you are having a policy proposition that says we need to redistribute land in this country, and we need to have a policy of expropriation of land without compensation. Now you have someone coming and say, "Oh, you have a COVID problem. I will give you money, but stop this issue of land." So this person using aid, they are using other means, aid. They're using economic principles like these rating agencies to say when you start to write a policy that is going to advance your agenda as a country, that the next person, the next country says no. If you do that, then we're going to take our aid, and we're going to what is this thing, downgrade you in terms of Bumudi and organization like that. So that is means that as a country you are controlled from somewhere, although you have a government that you put in place.
Okay. All right.
So are you clarified with the question, Colin?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Scano. Thank you, Giovanni. Yeah.
So maybe a follow-up question to ask all: what would be an appropriate technology to address neocolonialism in Africa? What can we do in science, to address this kind of issues to stop neocolonization in Africa? Is there any idea in that regard? Anybody with a beautiful idea, please share with us.
For me, what we need is we need to have a lot of these appropriate technology ideas being applied at the local level, where you don't depend on someone saying, I will come bring you clean water, you have a clean water solution. But someone says, I'll come give you food security, you have a solution for food security at the local level. So that aid is not needed.
Thank you. So a lot, meaning any of them, right? Just any of appropriate technologies must be applied at the local level. You don't have any specific one you can think of now?
Giovanni, man, yeah, I agree with Mr. Scano's response. And I agree, it's not specific, it's very broad,
Yeah.
But it links to what we were talking about this morning. That appropriate technology should provide appropriate help, in that it should make sure that the people using it have independence. So anything that causes that community to be self-reliant and self-sustaining, I can say such technologies can address the issue of neocolonialism.
Okay. Thank you, Sko, and thank you, Pule, for your contribution there.
So, Giovanni, it means anything to reduce reliance on the government.
Yes. Okay. Is our welcome? Okay. No.
Yeah.
Noted.
So, another thing that Mr. Scano mentioned when I was talking about colonialization, he said we have been made to always think the worst of ourselves. Foreign products being more trusted than local. Like a man made an example of traditional medicine and Western medicine. But the question I would like to pose is, are we doing our best in being trusted? I mean, the reason why Western medicine is more trusted, it makes some logical sense to say they are not sure whether traditional medicine has been tested, but are we doing the most in getting these products tested? I mean, the Western ways, maybe we should adopt them, but for our own indigenous knowledge. Yeah.
And that's a very good score. I think very good and challenging to all of us. Are we doing our best, right, to be trusted? Are we doing our best to compete against, maybe the offer from other countries? Are we doing our best, to stop corruption? I think it's really a question to add to all of us as people, as African. Uh, it's I mean we can't answer that question now, maybe, but I think it's a question for us to reflect on and try our best, to answer it for ourselves every day and every time we
Let,
is put it.
let me come in for just to deal with the example that was given of traditional medicine. And I will not answer it. I will just pose it as a question. Maybe the panelists will go find out themselves to say, why is it that when a research was done some time ago, that why are the people in the Kalahari not overweight, all of them? And I think someone found that because they use a plant called the hoodia, right?
Okay.
And then after that finding was made, then this plant hoodia became a threatened species. So when we talk about trust or not trust, whose trust do we want? Whose trust are we asking for? No, trust us. And we need to be trusted. Here's a plant. People come there and say, okay, there's an issue. We have an issue of weight. We're all overweight in the Western world. Here is a group of people. They are all not overweight. They go there, do research. Why are these people not overweight? No, they eat this plant. Is what they call it in English, appetite suppressant plant. They go there, they test it. We don't have to test. We grew up here eating this plant. What are we testing? They go and test it and do their trials. So no, this plant works. Now they come harvest it to go in the way they know it better. To threaten this, it becomes a threatened species. So whose trust are we asking for?
Powerful question. Yeah, I mean, whoever is approving the standards, should we trust them? That's the question. Should we trust whoever is setting the standards?
Okay, just to answer, maybe to answer Paul in a very short way. Well, maybe we might have also a need to be trusted by other people, but for us here, the first trust we are looking for is the trust of ourselves as African. We want to trust we want to trust each other. That is what we are looking for. As Dan said, you will see that we tend to go to other people's shops, go to the maybe people from Pakistan shops, and not the one from a fellow African brother. So I think we are talking about trust to in ourselves first of all before we even think of trust from other people. I don't know if
Agreed, Chair.
I answered your question. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. But we go back to Fanon to say the oppressed are made to think the worst of themselves. You understand? I will give you another example. How many people the world over have been arrested for either plantation or usage of the cannabis, marijuana type of plant? A lot. But today we are seeing a new movement of saying, no, we're going to legalize this and regulate it. And then you go check the regulations that are there on this plant. I personally, I don't use the plant, but you go see the regulations that are there in this plant, and you're asking yourself, okay, so all along there was no problem with this plant. The problem was that it was not owned somewhere. So all these years we've been told, hey, no, Motokwane is where it's all these names. No, Dara is what. Now there's no, let's legalize, legitimize it, and regulate it. Now you go to the regulations, you must own a 5 hectare, whatever they say, you must plant it where and not where. Yeah, this is how you must deal with it. That says only the people that have the resources can now have an opportunity to plant and benefit from this plant. Then we were told all along that it's bad. Now it's good because they have found a way to own it.
So, Paul, what are you saying there now? Yes, we agree that there's a lot of things which were not happening the right way before. That's correct. We agree there. But one thing we know for sure is we want to progress. We want to move forward. Right? We need to find a better way of doing things. Right. So talking about that plan, right? Okay, yes, it might have said late, how to do it, but it's there less than never, isn't it? So what would you yourself now suggest is the best way to do it in this case, in those kind of situations?
Yeah, but the first issue is that I mean, you are a researcher as well. We're all researchers. We can't say no, forget about the past, let's go forward. We
Yes,
always use historical data or
correct.
historical basis to form a base for our argument. Everything that we have lost in the continent, we have lost it because we trusted someone. Because why do we trust this person? Show this person trust and welcome them, and then because we want this person to trust us, or we assume they trust us. And from all over, there's no one that has ever came here with good intentions into Africa. Be it from Europe, now there's there's China,
Chinese, yeah.
and there's all of that. There's no one that has ever came with good intentions into Africa. That we need to have that as a historical fact, and to say we are not going to trust anyone, and we don't want anyone to trust us. African solutions for African problems. It's that simple. For African people, we shouldn't be shy to say we're doing this for Africa. Must not be shy. We must not be saying no. The downtrodden, the oppressed people, the poor people. It's Africans. It ends there. Why are we shy? When people go out there and say "Make America Great Again," they're not shy to say that. They're saying it. We're doing it for our people. Why are we shy? We say no. Maybe we must find solutions that will resonate with the rest of the world. Do they want to resonate with us? Do they even want us in the globe?
Maybe not. Maybe yes. We don't know.
Sure.
That's very interesting. I hear a voice there. Is that Solani?
Mr. Mozambique,
Yes, doctor.
we have a lady in the house. Tego.
Yes, welcome Tiro to the house, and
So
we look forward to hear from your contribution as well, Tiro.
yeah.
So we are talking about identifying challenges that Africa is facing now, and how can we address those challenges with the use of appropriate technologies. So if you have any comment, question, you are free to talk to us.
Okay, just to follow up on what Mr. Sekano was saying, Mr. Sekano, would you say AU is useless? The African Union, the way it mandates African agenda, would you say it's useless, sir?
I don't know about useless. I don't know about useless, but I have to say first, when we say African agenda, we need, because we're talking about the AU most advanced African agenda, but I don't think there's anyone that sits and tell us in the continent what is African agenda according to AU. And as well, the other issue is if there are who funds this organization and for what? So if I find you, do I owe you? I don't know who funds them. Are they funded by Africans? Are they when we say African agenda, is it an African agenda or is it the agenda of the Africans? If it's African agenda, it can come from somewhere. It might be someone's agenda about Africa. But is it the agenda of the Africans about Africa? So we need to find out what is this African agenda and what is the EU needs to be upfront with telling us what is happening in the continent. When we have seen the silence of AU in major issues that were happening, when it was clearly silent. We have seen the silence of AU when there was accusations of people being chopped heads, where they have to be silent for the whole week before statements are released. You've seen the silence and the AU speaking in equivocal terms when it comes to the leadership problem in Zimbabwe, even in South Africa, in Nigeria. When the youth of Nigeria was saying stop this thing called SARS, what did the AU say? So what is this African agenda? Is it an agenda of someone about Africa, or is it the agenda of the Africans? We need to ask ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sikano.
Thank you, Tiro, for your question as well. Do you have any other comments or contribution, maybe? Okay.
Not at this point of time. Thank you, Mr. Mzambe.
All right. I think we were addressing the two points 2 and point 3, which were identifying challenges in Africa and how can we address those challenges using appropriate technologies. So I think we are still there for some more minutes. Let's discuss what do you think we can use, to address. So far, we have identified, I think, 2 or 3 challenges. First of all, corruption. We've also identified the neo-colonization in Africa, and also the issue of trust, either trust for ourselves or trust from other people. So we still need to hear from you. How do you think we can address these challenges with the use of appropriate technologies? The floor is still open for any comments and question.
Mr. Mzambe,
Yes.
kindly paraphrase the question for me.
Okay. I'm saying we are trying to identify different challenges that Africa is facing. All right. And so we also want to see what can we do to address these challenges with the use of appropriate technologies. Those are our questions. So far we have identified 3 challenges. First of all, we have said that we have an issue with corruption. Okay, then we also have the issue of trust, meaning we don't trust ourselves, or we don't have the trust of other people. We also have the issue of neo-colonization, which means that there is this there's still an influence from overseas to Africa. So countries still want to influence us, they still want to control us, even though we are so-calledly free and independent countries. We still have we can still feel the sense of external influence in Africa. So how do we address these issues with the use of appropriate technologies? And if you also have maybe if you also want to identify another challenge, please also you can feel free to also add to this list as well.
Shobani,
Yes.
for neo-colonialism,
Yes.
we said that we should establish systems that encourage independence, right? So that's one.
Yeah, that's one. Yes, that's one. Solution or suggestion there. Yes.
So what are the other suggestions for corruption and the lack of trust?
If I may say, I also have an idea, not just also a suggestion in terms of us addressing the issue of neo-colonialism in Africa. I think if you look deep, all our turns, all our issues, maybe most of them are just the consequences of poverty. You know, is although there are some people who are they are wealth, but they are still corrupt. But in most cases, it's because we are coming from a poor background that we are easily corrupted. You know, so that's for me. So I think the one of the way to address all these issues will be to find technologies that will address the issue of hunger in Africa. So that's why I really loved the speech of brother Godfrey yesterday with the Songhai initiative. You know, that's one of the things we need in Africa. You know, they are trying their really their best to produce everything on their own with no funding and nothing at all, but they have managed to create a a full ecosystem of food production from the start. So they've got farms there, they've got they are producing, you know, they are farming, you know, they are doing agriculture, they are transforming their products into juice, you know, oil, you know, everything. And as they are still doing recycling, I think that for me is the most appropriate technologies for Africa. It's addressing the very basic need we need, which is hunger in Africa. So I think that's what I would say. We must try our best to find means, a way, and ways not to address hunger in Africa by creating technologies which will help us to produce more and consume our local products. Is there any other one who I see Moses has raised his hand. Moses, please go ahead. We are listening to you.
Hi, good everyone.
Hi, Moses.
It's quite an interesting topic that you are discussing around here. And I want to come in from another view that has to do with urbanization. As we all know, urbanization is becoming inevitable, probably due to migration, people trying to find environment more efficient, and social insecurity, issue of insecurity services, decaying infrastructure. How do we manage these things with the prospect of appropriate technology in the era we find ourselves? And this issue of urbanization is becoming destructive. And in what sense? Every now and then, we are having new developments coming up from time to time. How do we accommodate urbanization, influx of people from rural environment to urban center, and how do we manage rural environments to be sustainable? Now it brings this word in now, the aspect of sustainability. Because if we are having the locals moving into the urban centers, then how do we manage the population shift from one area to the other? Whereas living a particular place isolated and accumulating another place in terms of population. So how do we like sustain this issue? How do we manage it in the prospect of appropriate technologies? How do we like use appropriate technology to manage urbanization? So I believe like, okay, successful technology, like efficient way of building. We've mentioned people. I think I overheard people mentioning additive manufacturing. It is one key technology there that can be used for one of the problems. The issue of artificial intelligence can bring life improvements as well. Artificial intelligence is a key technology that brings life improvements. Data issue also, big data. If we have data in place, we can shift it to know how to bring in strategic into organization. So they call it bringing in what's called the necessary tools for the government to see the needs that is deficient in a particular place, and also to manage everything. Advanced materials, especially the aspect of automotive, we are aware of the issue of natural fiber. Natural fiber, in what sense? People are like planting that natural fiber can be used in aerospace, automotive, and other things. So there are some tools. If we break it down through the value chain, there are some tools. If we break them down, it can help our issue of urbanization, this problem that has to do with urbanization. We can mitigate them with the use of appropriate technology, right from the local level to the emerging technologies, so that we find our environment sustainable. So I'm just throwing it to the floor that maybe we should also look at the issue of urbanization aspect, developmental aspect. So maybe we can throw that thing open as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses, for your comments and the contribution. It's very much noted and appreciated as well. Let's see, is there any other one want to give a comment here? A question, a comment, another challenge you have identified in Africa? I see Dr. Adenuk, I think that's Tero. You have your hand up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, Tero.
Oh, thank you. So regarding the issue of lack of trust, kindly correct me if I'm wrong. So with the lack of trust, okay, so Africans were slaves before, right? And somehow I still feel like we're still slaves, because just now we're still going to celebrate Black Friday, and there's just how do I put it? There's just some history behind the word itself, the Black Friday. I feel like that also we should rename or change that name, or perhaps like let's change, like we must just come up with an idea whereby Black Friday, this word, this name, this shame of the history behind it should be eradicated. Yes.
So how do you think we can do to change that? What would you suggest for us to change that the way we see things or we do things? Talking about the slavery mindset. Yeah, apply that to yourself, right? So yeah, you're giving a very good, a very true reality we are facing now, right? But how do you think we can do not to address this kind of issues we are having? What can we do?
What
So we
can
are
we
here for yes, we are here to look for solutions or suggestions towards our problems. Just in your own way, what do you think we can do, to address this kind of issues?
we can Okay. As now, this is a discussion, right?
Yes.
Let
Yeah.
other members throw their ideas, then I'll
Okay.
put my. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
All right. No problem. Thanks. Let's
That's it.
okay. Let's hear from other people. Then let's hear from other people. We have heard about very good issue of us having this maybe slavery mindset. You know, we are saying what things we don't even know where they're coming from, and all we are maybe not. We should maybe not be the ones celebrating these things, but we are doing it. So yeah, it's also a question to all of us. Let's hear from you guys. How do we address these issues? What can we do? Maybe in the meantime, while you are still thinking about your answer, I want to also just give another challenge I perceive, you know, in the future is the challenge of waste. You know, the state says that at the moment Africa has 1.2 116 billion people. That is as per 2016. We are 1.216 billion people in Africa. And when I say with our growth rates currently, it's going to be close to 2 billion by 2050 or so. So it's a very growing population we have in Africa. And with the growth of the population, there's also the issue of waste generation. So we're going to have more and more waste being produced in our countries, in our cities. So which for me, it raises the issue of waste management. Maybe we don't see it now, but it's something coming very, very fast, very, very quick, very, very fast. You know, we're gonna have the issue of a waste management. And if we continue to do things the way we are doing it now, we're going to be running into a big problems in a very close future. So I think it's also a challenge for us. We need to keep it in mind and always think about how do we solve our waste management issues. You know, how do we better manage our waste, not run into troubles in the coming years. Because just an example, like for now, you know, Africa, we still have a lot of landfills. So most of our waste just end up in the landfill where we just go and dump them in there. But if you go to countries like the USA, I mean Germany, they don't have any more space to go and dump their waste. So now they are now forced either to recycle their waste or to dump it in a different country at a fee. So they're paying for their waste to be dumped in a different country. So if we Africa we don't change our behavior now, we're going to end up where they are now. So we need to start thinking now, how can we do, to avoid having finding ourselves in a state where we don't have any more space to landfill, and we don't have money to dump our waste in a different country, and we are stuck, and then we hope to end up having waste or rubbish in our streets, in our towns and so forth. I think it's also a very, very big challenge we need to keep in mind as Africa, and think of how can we address this issue as well as a continent or as countries. I don't know if that's the new hand. I see Moses' hand. Is there a new one, Moses?
Yes, it is a new hand.
Good. So please go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. It's becoming more interesting because what you just suggested is one of the anatomy of urbanization as well that I just mentioned before, and we need key solution as fast as possible to mitigate these problems. From my angle, I think one key thing that we should look at maybe we should take it from the local level. The local government council, the municipalities, to find a balancing task to ensure maybe come up with a stringent environmental quality controls and laws so that we be able to mitigate this problem. And also, there are a lot of tools when it comes to this issue of waste. waste can be disseminated to the issue of energy. We can as well talk of green spaces. We can talk of water, waste system generally. So we are talking of resource efficiency, resource management here. So how do we manage this issue? That means that we must as well come up with some maybe efficient supply chains that can help mitigate human being footprints, that can minimize this issue of waste, so we have this good quality of life. And as well, reducing this issue of waste, it also helps us to manage our economy as well, because by the time we are diversifying into waste management, it's becoming more economical issue. So we must see how we can, issue of life cycle, we can bring it in, life cycle management. Air pollution is another problem when it comes to this waste from the industry. So the research and development aspect can come from the issue of the aspect technology of purifiers, the purifier, the bulk filters, all those kind of technologies, they can come into place. In the industry, stringent industrial and environmental waste management. All this technology can come in. Material disposal management. All this technique can come into so that we have a better environment, to have a cleaner air and a greener environments. Yeah, so this issue of greenhouse gas emission is becoming an issue that is becoming worrisome to the whole world. So I think we should start thinking of technologies in terms of waste management that will help us manage, so that we not continue to compare our because this thing is like it's interwoven, metamorphosed into this earth issue as well.
Yes,
So right now we do not have a greener environment, our health problem compiles, therefore our economy continues to deteriorate. So all these things, it goes down the value chain like that. So yeah, that's what I just want to mention.
Thank you so much, Moses, for that wonderful contributions there. Yes, in the waste ecosystem is a very serious, because it will affect different aspects of life in our communities. The waste management can will affect our economy, it affects our health, it affects our planet. So it's really a very serious issue. We need to really think of and keep on thinking and find a way to better manage our waste, to avoid having a adverse effect of waste management in our life. Yeah, thanks, Moses, for your contribution there. It's well noted. Uh, I think we have. Is there anybody else who want to come in this to give his comment or a comment here? I don't see a hand. Yes, Colin.
The question I have is, does universal basic income make sense in our context, since we are already good in giving out grants?
Can you just come back with the question? I didn't get it very well.
We are familiar with the universal basic income, the concept of UBI.
Yes, I am.
So to those who are not familiar, it's trying to say that we can have robots working for us and we will just be chilling at home, and the companies which are now using these robots will then pay us for just sitting at home, because the robots are doing work that we could have been doing. So the question then I pose is, does this concept make sense for us? Is this the best thing that can happen? Maybe we should automate everything and then just force companies to pay us for just staying at home.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Cole, for your question. I don't want to come in here to give their view on this question. Please feel free. I hear it sound somewhere. Moses, go ahead, please, if your hand is up.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Schools. It's quite a tough question that you just posed to us there. And it's becoming a challenge when we are talking about it speaks to automation control and this issue of robotics. It is in the actual fact, it is this issue of fourth industrial revolution that is it has this potential to bring development, and at the same time, I don't know if this terminology of it can mar or move us forward. So I think we just have to prepare for the reality. The issue of Internet of a Thing, artificial intelligence, this issue of even additive manufacturing that we are talking about, the issue of copyright, this IP issue is there under it. All these acclaimed technologies, as much as they come to our aid, they have this risk that is so associated with them. So it's becoming a challenge with the question you asked that people really have to evaluate to see what, as much as this technology are here to help us, how do we manage, how do we sustain ourselves income-wise? I hope we human beings are not going to be redundant. So this ecological footprint that is coming to our the doorstep, how do we prepare for it? How do we predict what will be what our future will be like with the advent of this technology, and how do we like level up with our income and our environment? It's quite ambiguous, seriously.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Moses, for your input. I see Dr. Denuga's hand is up. Doc, please go ahead. If you
I
can.
think it just that is a hand and has not dropped the hand.
Oh, so old one. Okay. All right.
Mm.
Okay. No, thanks, Moses, for your input there. I want us to move to the last question that I had. Then we're going to open it for any other comment or question you might have on your side. So our last question from my side at least is that we want to just discuss as a student what is the future of INET. So we need to discuss what do you think is the future of INET? What can we do to improve INET, or what can we do to ensure uh, the the ongoing of INET activities? So let's discuss. Let me hear from you. Maybe we can start by saying what do you think is the impact of INET so far? Then you can say what do you think is its future thereof. Let's discuss. Let me hear what you have to say about INET. So INET is for those who don't know, INET is it's National Network for Appropriate Technologies. Is the network that is organizing the ICAT conference we are having this week. So it's been open, I think, for many years now. And now we just want to hear from you. What do you think about INET? What do you think is the impact of this network in Africa or in the world? And what will be the future of this network as far as we are concerned here?
Giovanni,
Yes, Dr. Denuka.
as a follow-up, are we looking at exploring the student section of creating a forum where we can discuss within ourselves as a student, in case we're doing a research, how appropriate it will be towards the cause of Africa? Because it is until we have a forum where we can link up to share ideas on different projects that will be beneficial to the cause of Africa, probably in terms of employment generation and in sustainable developmental goals. Like my area of research covers the goal 7, which has to do with ensuring that energy, power is provided for an African child and every African home. So with this type of research, it can help us look more inward towards helping ourselves in Africa before we embark on any projects. So thanks, I will stop here.
Thank you, Doctor, for that question or idea. I think it's a very good idea. Yeah, we're gonna see at the end of this session, we're going to maybe ask ourselves here, what can we do to keep on to keep the discussion, to keep on discussing and talking about appropriate technologies for Africa. I think that will be very, very good and important point to make sure we keep on this to keep this ongoing conversation about how we are addressing African problems. Well, let's ask first of all is discuss about the future of INET. Let's first hear from us here. What do you think about INET, and what do you think is the future of this network, or what can we do to improve INET network? So let me hear from you, everyone.
Then Giovanni, what was your question?
So we are now having the discussion about the last question. We want to discuss about INET now. Okay, INET. We asking ourselves. First of all, we need to hear from you. What do you think is the impact of INET so far, or maybe how do you define? How do you understand it? What do you think about INET as a network? Then secondly, you can then discuss with us or share with us what do you think we can do to improve INET, or what should be the future of this organization? That's our questions now.
All right, thank you. The impact of INET, one which I can think of, is raising awareness on what to regard as appropriate technology.
Okay.
Raising awareness, I would say that's the first impact.
All right. Great. And then maybe, what do you have any suggestion, any idea which we can maybe propose to the INET board members about how to improve it or how to ensure its sustainability as an organization?
Dr. Denuga already spoke of a forum, right, to that would assess our research work to say whether it's appropriate or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one solution, that forum.
Okay.
And then another impact, Giovanni, that I can think of is that it's creating a platform for networking. So
Yes.
through this platform, we can know what is important globally and find a link. So that platform, even now, the Techathon, giving the opportunity to collaborate with other people who are focusing on some sustainable development goals. So that platform for networking, that's a huge thing. Yeah.
Great. That's so true. Huh? That's so true. Because I think that's where it all started. As we know, you cannot do research in isolation. So, meaning networking is very, very key, for good research or for good development of a country or of a continent. I think that's a very, very good impact, and it is having already on all of us here actually. Yeah, thanks for those comments. Yeah, I think for me also, I can add, yes, it's creation is creation is a platform for networking. It's raising awareness about appropriate technologies, but also just the fact that it's organizing these conferences where we can come and share knowledge about these appropriate technologies is also for me a very good impact it's having so far on people. So we have a platform where we can come to share what they have done, to address the issues in their communities. So for me, it's also a very good impact it's having so far on the continent or on different people as an organization. So we can add that there as well. Uh, let's see if there's anyone else want to give their comment on these questions. Yes, so just we can just coming back to Dr. Adenoga's point. Yes, that's really what we need to do now. We want to find a way to keep the discussion going, right? So the first thing we can do, as he said, we need to create a platform, maybe a platform on what's going to allow us to discuss, to keep on sharing ideas, sharing our research output, also or discussing about what we can do as a network, as a country, as a continent to address our issues. So yes, we cannot maybe workshop the platform now on how to do it, but maybe I'll ask us maybe to join INET if you don't mind. So as you know, they have posted the link in the website where you can join the INET. Then from there you can be able to specify if you want to be involved in this platform, go to create, then I'm going to take it from there. Or maybe we can just ask us here to drop our emails in the chat box, right? Adenuga, what do you think? How do we go about that?
Yeah, people, those who can't talk can post their ideas there. It's good that you are noting some of these points. Then we can do a summary of the workshop.
Okay. So yeah, one while you are there, you can just drop your comments or input in the chat box. Also put your email if you are interested to join our student or chapter of the INET, where we can discuss to see how can we keep on discussing about the future of INET. Send us your email, then we're going to keep in touch from there. Scott, are you there? Are you still here with us?
Yes, I'm here, Giovanni. I'm listening. Yeah.
Any other comments on your side?
No, on my side, there's nothing else. It's just a question that I have. How can we improve participation on this forum? Like even right now we were discussing, right? So we can take it to a forum, but the participation, how can we improve it? What core things should we address maybe to improve participation, even in that forum?
Yeah, good question. Good question. Well,
Sorry, talk.
hello?
Can I talk?
Yes,
Ask question.
please go ahead.
I just want to ask a question. I was trying to join. Uh, there's a link on the email I got, so I was trying to join, but now it says finding INET members to serve as your sponsor. Indicate 1 or 2, 3. So I'm not sure which one should I select.
for to join the INET.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can look for, are you from TUT or which country are you from?
South Africa.
Yeah, you can, we have the likes of Professor Mpofu there, Professor Trimbo, which are people with us here. Then you can pick a third person. They just need to cross-reference from you. Whether you are an affiliate of a university, then I think they will enlist you to be a member.
Oh,
Are you clear, my brother? Are you fine with the question? You qualified?
yeah, I think so. I follow John, as you mentioned. I know but others, I'm not sure, but I will see those from South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. Thanks, Dr. Denuga, for that. So,
There's a question for you, Mr.
Mr. Muzambe,
yes.
just to address one of the issues, I feel like financial literacy should be a compulsory module, starting there from high school till university. Hence, a multitude of Africans are liberated politically, not economically. Like we should find a way on how Africans should be economically stable, financially stable. So, for example, young people like myself included, if I were to get a job now, it will be highly rare to think about ways of investing, things like that. So, how about a module like that can be added or be in the curriculum? Yes.
That's that's very true, because most of us finish university and we still financially illiterate. We still financially, less educated maybe. So the issue of being financially literate is a very good question, which we need to also see how can you address it. Yes, that is a very good suggestion to make sure it's introduced from very low level. I mean, high school also. We already have a module for financial literacy that will help a lot. But let's see how we're gonna find a way to bring these ideas to our government, and let's hope that they will hear us and make it happen. I know it's going to be a tough one. How to make sure that, I mean, how to even suggest this idea is to add a module in high school for financial literacy. But it's something can try. There's nothing is impossible. Yeah, we need to just find a way to get these ideas to the top, and hopefully they will make it implemented, or try to go and implement these ideas. Thanks, Chero, for your input there. It's noted. Thanks for that comment, for those suggestions there.
And Mr. Zambe, on that note, we should also address gender-based violence at a very how do I say? I put this in words. At a very fragile age, still there at high school, so that people can learn ethics, morals, and things like that.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. But then, do you maybe have a clear suggestion how to go about us? How do we go about these suggestions to make it happen? What do you suggest? Should we go to the schools and talk to them, or should you wait until you become the Minister of Education, and then you do it yourself?
Are you throwing that question to me?
Who's that? No, we should go to schools. It starts
Okay.
there.
To start
Yes.
then.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Okay. Now I think our time is almost over. Let's see if there's somebody who wants to give a comment or a question before we wrap up. Is there anyone who wants to give a comment here? Please let us know. Uh, I don't see. Dan, yes, Dan Chisung want to give a comment. Dan, please go ahead. I see your hand.
Yes, as a word to close up, um, I would like each and every one of us, with the little knowledge that we may have on life and how Africa is being affected by many things. Progress happens with one person. If you can help one person, even at your home, to progress, you are helping the overall progress of the continent. So we all have siblings, we all have parents, some might have children. The way you educate them, the way you transfer your knowledge, the way you talk to the people that surround you might help them progress. And you may change Africa by changing the people around you. So advice I can give each and every one of us would be to let's try to empower each and every one of us by empowering the people that surround us in a very close surrounding. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for your comment. Thanks for that contribution. Dr. Denuka, I see your hand. There's a new one, I guess.
Yeah,
Yes,
on
please go ahead.
on a concluding mode, I think as we go back to our various homes, various work, and for those of us who are aspiring or already researching, we should try and align our thinking towards bettering betterment of Africa through appropriate technology. We must ensure that any project we are embarking upon must be culturally sensitive towards the cause of African people, must create a balance ecologically in technology exchange. By saying technology exchange, you are procuring things from the other side of the world. How appropriate are they towards the cause of Africans? In terms of economic sustainability, how do we help ourselves? By growing through an incubation program, creating an avenue for ourselves to make money, probably on a private level or full-time, on a part-time or a full-time, through creating a small and medium enterprise. And we must always give priority to women and children in our cause of engaging in the betterment of Africa as a whole and the world at large. Thank you, Mr. Musambi.
Thank you, Doctor, for that concluding remark. Very inspiring and very informative as well. Thanks for that. I think just to conclude on my side, I just want to thank everybody who participated in this session. We really appreciated your presence here, and also your contribution. I'm looking forward really to a continuous discussion about these issues, because we are the ones who must think on how to address the African problems as young people. So please feel free to join INET's network And if you have any questions, you can get our emails there as well. Please reach out to us, and we're looking forward to creating our platform, and then take it from there and try our best, as we said, to promote trust, to promote corruption-free environment, to fight against neo-colonialism, which is affecting Africa, to find a way to produce local products and consume local products as well. That's our suggestions for our continent. So thanks again for being here. It's almost 1 o'clock, so it's time for us to have a break, and we meet again in our different rooms for the next sessions for paper presentations. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.
And we should not forget to join the same section at the same time, 11, for the
Yes,
second section. Yeah.
that's correct. Yeah, thank you for that reminder. Thanks for that. It's noted.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you,
For
everyone.
now,
Bye bye.
yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Professor, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. And Mr. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'll be here as
Sorry, your voice is cutting.
I'm saying I'll be here to make the host for as a support for room 8. So if you guys
Hmm.
can
I can't hear you clearly.
sorry for that. Is it better now?
Yes, it's better now.
I'm saying that I will be helping out as a technical support for this workshop. So if
Okay.
yourself and Prof. Chimbo, who's the chair of this session, you are ready, you can start with the workshop.
Okay.
Thank you. Actually, I'm turning it over to you to basically, show whatever you're going to show on that side. Just keep in mind that we have till a quarter to the
Two.
hour because a quarter to 4 they have to set up for the next workshop. So, and be sure as soon as you start to hit the record.
Okay, now just go to your office. I want you to go to this form.
Okay. Hello.
This is a new form. So
Yes.
yes, I'm saying it already.
Mm.
So you had
Do
to
you?
present.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Can I start?
Yes, please do. And start the record.
Start to record.
Okay, I'm recording it on my side.
Oh, you are going to record.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
recording it already.
Oh, okay,
Thanks.
okay. Do you guys have the study guide with you? I've emailed the study guide for the workshop. Do you guys have it?
That's a question to ask to all the attendees,
The
but
attendees,
they
the
are not
attendees
able to
can't hear
speak.
you. So
Yes,
just, you can assume that they have it.
yeah.
But you didn't send it to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can share it here. Okay, okay. Mm, mm. Are you able to see something?
Yeah, we can see your screen very clearly.
Yes.
Oh, okay. We are actually the ETIA group who are focusing on developing content for training applications on Unreal Engine. So today you'll be instructed by me, Msimi Simlang, the VR software engineer. So the overview of the project, like in this VR workshop, or this VR workshop is for 2 hours. You will learn the basics of Unreal Engine, scripting, blueprint, creating first-person character, creating material, and importing asset into your project. You'll learn the above while building a desktop-based application for training on the assembly sequence of an equipped sheet pad. Can I show you like the overview of the whole project? Okay, the project. Okay. I have sent an email yesterday requesting you guys to familiarize yourself with Unreal Engine. I posted links that direct you to YouTube whereby you are going to learn the basics of Unreal Engine. So I suppose you are familiar with this picture. Are you seeing something? Hello?
Yes, but
Oh,
all of the attendees cannot respond. They're muted. So assume
oh,
that you're just speaking to the class, and only at the end will they can type in questions.
oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Oh, okay. After opening the project, now I'll just show you the overview of the whole project. So we are going to come here and then we'll zoom it. Then we hit play. So this is the intro of the desktop based application. So we decided to design a warehouse whereby inside the warehouse we are going to put a welding jig and also welding jig parts models. Our main aim is to actually interact with the object in the virtual environment, since we are more focused on the visual reality development. So this one is a desktop based application, since you guys don't have the headset with you. So inside the warehouse, when you come in, by pressing the W key, you come in. This is your warehouse. This is your warehouse. This is the welding curtains. So inside, there's the welding jig here. Then there's the welding table. So what we are going to do today, we are going to add some parts on the table. Then after that, the user will inspect the parts, whether it's part 1, part 2, part 3. All those things, you are going to see them as we go along the workshop. The reason we decided to do a template for you guys, we noticed that it's gonna take long for building a project from scratch, but I'm going to give you like a brief tutorial on how to create a project, because I know some of you are not familiar with the environment. So, actually, I actually ran the template for the. Sorry, guys, for the for the workshop. I was supposed to show you the original project. Now it's loading. Yeah, it's this one. Oh. Okay. Okay, so we start here. Then I hit play. When I hit play, this is as the ETR group. Then when you enter the warehouse, now you see the parts. On the other one, there are no parts. That's the one we are going to work on it together as a team. So when you inspect this one, you guys can see on your side it's written part 1. Then you move on to the next one. It's written part 2, then part 3, then part 4. So we decided to just use only 4 parts, because there are a lot of parts that you have to fit in the welding jig. Then our main focus is to, like in future, is to take the parts and put them on the welding jig. Then after that we weld. So those things are gonna be implemented in the virtual reality gadget. The reason, hello, hello.
Yes, Mr. We can hear you. You are
You
very
go
clear.
ahead.
You
Oh,
continue. Yeah.
okay. So the reason here we couldn't go forward to whereby now you take the parts and put them on the welding jig. It's because it's a desktop environment. The part whereby you put the parts won't be the same as the one on the virtual reality. But in future, not actually in future, we are working on taking the part on the virtual reality, and you put it on the welding jig. Then after that, you weld. Okay, that's it. I think now. Are you guys? Did you guys get the email with the study guide? Or are you guys gonna follow through while I'm starting to build the project?
Just move forward with building. Everybody is on attendee. They can't respond until the end with question and answer unless they're advanced to be panel.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the study guide. On the study guide, there is unit 1, whereby now you are creating your project. Once you have Unreal Engine downloaded and installed in your PC, you can create a new project by just launching the Unreal Engine icon on your desktop or the Epic Game Launcher. Let's do that. Okay, there is also another way of opening it. Let's not use that one because it needs network, that one. So if we are using network, we are going to limit ourselves. Okay, when you're creating a new project, you click on the Unreal Engine icon there, then you come to games. After games here, you click next. Then here, you have like a lot of template. There's the blank template whereby there's nothing. You can see also here. Let me just zoom this. Then there's the first person whereby they gave you the content to start working with. Then there's also a third person somewhere. Okay, then there's also the virtual reality. So if you were to start a building project on Unreal Engine, fortunately for you, you have the templates already built for you, so you can start learning from this template. But let's say for now we are creating a project for a first person. So I'll click on the first person and then say next. Then now here there is blueprint. On the blueprint, there is blueprint and also C++. So you choose between blueprint and C++. Blueprint are actually nodes that I use in Unreal Engine. Then C++ is actually whereby you code the software or the application that you are building on Unreal Engine. But for now, we're going to select a blueprint. Then here, that's where you actually choose your device that you are working on, where your project is going to run. In our case, it's going to run on a desktop console. Then you can also build a tablet. A project that is gonna run on mobile or tablet, and also, okay, the VR is not enabled because you have to enable it on the template. Then now we are choosing the desktop. Then here, that's where you actually now choose whether you want the starter content or you don't want the starter content. So for demonstration purpose, I'll just select with the starter content. Then here, That's actually where you name your project. Then here it's the file extension where your project is saved. So in this case, it's saved in C.
Okay, let me slow you down. Okay, I got to the point of the desktop console.
Mm,
Okay, and then when I hit that, then it comes up with starter content, and I have to click on that, or is it just there? Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Then
go ahead.
Then after that, you create a project. You wait for it to load. Okay, here is our first person example. So if you were to like start learning Unreal Engine today, you don't have to learn how to do this. You can just use the very same objects that are already here. You can pick them up. You can do your UI widgets whereby, let's say, when you interact with the object, it shows a message on the screen. You can also move. You can also move the object up and down. You can also change the position, the orientation. You can also make the object bigger by just using these three. This one is a translate object. It's for moving. Then this one is it's a rotate object. It's for rotating the object. Then you have the scale object, which is for enlarging the object or decreasing it. So I think for creating the project, we are done. We can close this part. We are done with unit 1. Let me check the time. Okay, we still have more time. So for the okay. So on the study guide, I also highlighted how you can create the project without maybe using videos. You can just follow the study guide. I try to be as simple as possible. Then, okay, we did that. We did the choosing the blueprint. We did that. Then after that, we are going to unit 2, which is importing engineering CAD files into Unreal Engine. In Unreal Engine, we have a plugin called DataSmith. So that plugin, it helps designers, engineers, visualizers from different industries, because most of the time you find that working with engineering CAD files, it's quite challenging. So Unreal Engine, they gave us this tool, the DataSmith plugin. So most of the time, when you are maybe working with SolidWorks files, you use the DataSmith plugin. There's also another way of importing, which I will show you. Okay, now I'm going to go on the project for today, which is the template that I showed you at first, so that I can show you how you can import files. I mean CAD files using DataSmith. Okay, I'm opening. Okay, here I just come to my level. So usually when you create
Excuse me, a question. I
okay,
see under here there's Datasmith,
yes,
CITF importer, ICP importer, and then just Datasmith importer. Which one are we supposed to enable?
enable the Datasmith one.
The Datasmith importer, not the other ones?
You saw, are you on the plug-in panel?
Yes,
Let me, this one.
yes.
Uh, all the Datasmith, you should enable all of them.
All three of them. Okay.
Yes, you should enable them. Then after enable them on your side, you'll have to, it will show you a restart here. You'll have to restart your project. Then it will load again.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have the files to import on your side?
Yes,
Oh,
I imported
okay.
them.
Oh, okay. Because I want to show how we can import a welding table on the viewport, which is this scene. This is our viewport, actually the workspace. So usually when you are creating a project, initially the Datasmith is not enabled. So you'll have to enable the Datasmith. How do you enable the Datasmith? You go to settings here, then you come to plugins. Then after that, you search Datasmith here. Datasmith. Datasmith. Then you make sure that you enable all the Datasmith plugins. Then after that, you'll have to restart your project. Then it will load. So after that, you come to the Datasmith plugin now. You click on it. After clicking on it, it will open the file explorer. So what you need to do now, you need to navigate to the folder where you saved your 3D model, your 3D CAD model. So in this case, we are going to import part 1, which is a SolidWorks file. It's actually a table that has been modeled from SolidWorks. Then you click open. Then now you choose a folder where the 3D CAD model is gonna be stored inside Unreal Engine, actually inside your project. So